Morning, it's Dave again, and it's time for my weekly talk. I guess we're going to talk about the Trump impeachment deja vu. It's the big elephant in the room, and it starts on Tuesday. So, how do I feel about all of this? Well, I have the background in law, and while I realize that in a way an impeachment is more like an administrative hearing, it still is supposed to follow the rules of law. Come on, guys. You don't get a time limit on shoplifting of a week, okay? There's a statute of limitations to a crime, and that's what should apply to the impeachment hearing, okay? If you committed the crime of inciting somebody for and it's an impeachable offense, doesn't matter if you're out. I mean, can you imagine you could just decide on the last day in office to commit all kinds of atrocities and illegal stuff, and then the next day you don't have to face any consequences? I don't think that's what our founding fathers had in mind. And the very fact that you can keep someone from holding office as one of the punishments of impeachment, I think that pretty much spells out what the intent of the law is. So, but it doesn't really matter, does it? You've got to get 17 Republicans to embarrass their party. Because, folks, this isn't about Trump at this point. Mitch McConnell could care less, obviously. He said, vote your conscience. He's not trying to stonewall anything with this one because he doesn't care anymore. And that's just kind of the way things are right now. They just don't want to embarrass the Republican Party. So, will they get a conviction? I don't know. Personally, I think we need to move away from the way we do things. We need to make a constitutional amendment to make a very simple change. It's nothing outrageous. It's simply that instead of being tried by the Senate, the impeachment trial should be done with 100 jurors, 2 from each state, just like senators are. So it would be just like a Senate hearing, but there wouldn't be any partisan politics involved. Because while it wouldn't matter if you were a Democrat or a Republican, if you were on the jury isn't going to be packed one way or the other. You have voir dire for a jury, which means that they have to send alternates, and you get a chance to question the jury pool and remove people who are way overboard with their prejudices. So maybe push for that. Maybe that's something Calamity politics should look into doing, is changing that particular rule. However, those are not the only consequences out there. Actually, the impeachment in a lot of ways is kind of irrelevant if they could just say, oh, well, as the Senate, instead of an impeachment, we just decide that Donald Trump can't run again. But it doesn't work that way, unfortunately. So that's why the impeachment is necessary. You did something wrong. There's consequences, and you have to pay those consequences. That's just kind of the way it works, even for Donald Trump. But criminal charges could also be pressed. I believe that the feds and the city of Washington, D.C. Have every intention of looking into this. So, maybe some people are right that maybe the impeachment is going overboard when he could be facing some serious jail time. But again, you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And that's what's happened here. Most damaging of all, however, is the lawsuits. Even if he prevails in the lawsuits, it's just going to be years and years and years of endless litigation. I mean, you can see it coming. It's not a criminal defense for the QAnon shaman to come out and say that he was incited by Donald Trump. That's not why he's saying it. He's saying it because That's part of the lawsuit in the civil trial, because he's going to sue Trump. Trump didn't back him up. He didn't give him pardons. He didn't march down there with him, like he said. And now he's just leaving the people that he incited to flap in the wind. So that's a lot of lawsuits. The damage to the Capitol, all of those terrified people, hundreds and hundreds of cases of PTSD. And I know that nobody likes, Omar and OHC, but you can see PTSD in them when they're talking about the Capitol riots. And I'm pretty sure that Mr. Mike Pence, our former VP, feels pretty much the same way. That was scary, and it didn't matter if you were a Republican or a Democrat. That was scary. That's a lot of people traumatized. So, the impeachment is just the minimal part of what's coming here in the future. I don't think that Mr. Trump will be able to run, because I don't think you can run if you have a felony conviction, and that may be the issue by 2024. So anyone out there who supports Donald Trump, more power to you. Do whatever it is that he's doing, now. But remember that he will ask you to step over a line at some time, and he will not be there to have your back when you do it. So please, go out and peacefully protest, which we all know is very, very difficult to do. But that's what you need to do. You need to make your grievances heard through your vote. You need to work on your primary candidates. Quit worrying about who's in Congress and famous and can get the votes. Look in your primary at the person who will do the best job for you, and that's regardless of your political leanings. Okay? That's where we make the changes. It's that think globally, act locally. Well, you're sending someone to Washington, D.C. to represent you. Make sure that person represents you. Do you want an argumentative extremist, or someone who's going to get you the relief you need when you need it without being petty because they don't want to give the other side a win? Think about COVID relief being screwed over because somebody doesn't want to give somebody else a win. So that's my little speech for this week. Y'all have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. And just for my friend Keith Liger, go Chiefs!